Thank you so much for being here today because I can't wait to introduce you to my friend Meg George. She is the co-founder of George Development Group. She is also a mom of two and has two stepchildren. So you have a total of four, Meg. I don't know how you do this, but you managed to squeeze me in today, and I'm so very grateful to you. Thank
I
you.
will take any chance to talk to you, and I'm so honored and grateful that you asked me to talk with you today. So thank you.
Thank you, Meg. So, the reason I wanted to start this whole part of the PAC series is because I have so many incredible friends like you who are doing amazing things in their communities, in their lives, as parents, as people, and you just fit the bill of all those things and then some. And I was thinking about you especially because of you're a philanthropist. You have a background in giving and also providing wonderful words of wisdom to all sorts of nonprofits in the central New York community, also in Florida. You work everywhere, don't you?
Yeah, we do. We have clients who are in all different states around the country, but our home base, as you know, is in upstate New York, and we kind of share our time between there and South Florida. So,
Amazing. But you also provide advice to friends like me when it comes to giving and how to make an impact and how to just be a better human in the community that we are a part of. And if that is important at any time, it's really now after 2020, right?
it's more important than ever, and that's been one of the silver linings of this pandemic is working in philanthropy and helping people either strategize on giving back or raise more money is just I'm more in need than I ever have been, and for that I'm very grateful.
Yeah, definitely. So, how do you do this as a mom? I want to start with that because Gray is almost 5, and I feel like he's at an age now where he's starting to get it. He's starting to get
Yeah.
that he is a very blessed little boy and he has the ability to help others in small ways and big ways. How do we get that message across to them?
Yeah, that's a good question. We have four kids, like you said, and they range from 2 to 12. And so when we speak to our kids about giving back, we have to use language that they can digest kind of in the different stages. And my husband and I have found that the system works where if, first of all, you lead by example, give back, and actually talk about it at the dinner table, they're listening and they're taking that in. But second to that, if you can involve them on a personal level, they love it. So, one of the things that we do every year, and we just did with our kids, is we kind of help them organize their money. For the older two, they're like shoving it in drawers, you know? And so, from birthdays and Christmas last year and odd jobs from their grandpa, we show them you have this amount of money. We suggest, hey, maybe anywhere from this range to this range, right? It'd be really awesome of you to consider giving to charity. And they ask good, hard questions like, why would I give my money away? And what we tell them is that there's feelings we have inside of us and things we have around us that a lot of other people don't have.
Mhm.
So when you're hungry and you have food and we show them our pantry, you feel full and you feel nourished. And when you're around all of your family members and everybody's clothed, you're warm and you're loved. And all of these emotions and these tangible things, not everyone is fortunate enough, as crazy as that is, to have these things. So when we can give some of the money we have to places that help people get these things, we're doing our part in making other people's lives better. And that message has resonated this year. So we're lucky to know about a lot of nonprofits, but it's too overwhelming for our kids to know that so many thousands of choices exist. So this year we honed it down to three nonprofits, one that serves children who are in the unfortunate circumstance of being sick, the next those who are in the circumstance of not having beds, and the third was the food bank. So we talked about the food insecurity in not just our community but cities and towns everywhere across the country, and how $1 can feed x number of meals for people in any given day or week. And we let them kind of hash it out and decide on one place, and we pooled their money together and told them we would match it with our parents' money and that we would help them make that donation. And they felt really excited and good about it.
And then they're a part of it from the beginning, which is just making so many ripples for years to come. I absolutely love that. Now, what about you and Phil? Because I didn't mention, but I said co-founder. The other founder is Phil George, your husband, whom I also adore. And you guys work together every day. How is that for you, working with so many nonprofits to narrow down whom you want to give to? And also this year, I'm wondering if you have changed maybe your thoughts with the pandemic and seeing the big impact that that's having on so many nonprofits. Did that change where you decided to give this year?
Yeah, I'll answer that part of the question first, Kaylee, because I think that's important. We think of need and our mind immediately goes to food insecurity, like I
Mhm.
just mentioned, or shelter. Hey, all of these people lost their jobs this year. What are they doing and how are they taking care of their families? And the truth is, those needs have been around for a long time and they're only greater. But new this year is the first time since I've been in this industry where there's a genuine fear that other nonprofit organizations could fail to exist after 2020 or after 2021. And the arts and culture industries, especially, have taken a hit that even if you have an endowment or a savings account in the nonprofit world, it just doesn't necessarily mean that you can survive this. And so, for Phil and I, our own personal giving, this is the first time where we really made for us an investment like gift in an organization that is tied to the arts, something that's right in our town that our family just adores. And we said to each other, hey, there's a real risk here that this entity is in jeopardy of not being here. And I kind of challenge everyone's family to think about immediate humanity needs and beyond, because if you can feed people and clothe them, you are meeting a basic need. And if you enjoy culture or art or performances and you want your kids to have exposure to that, that's something to consider investing in so that we know post pandemic we can still enjoy those things.
What a great point, Meg, because of course I immediately am like, okay, I need to help the tiny humans in hospitals and I need to make sure the food pantry is stocked. But I don't necessarily think about the experiences. And I wonder if that's a large part why, their giving is down this year and they are at risk. But of course, we want to go back and enjoy those experiences when it's safe to do so. So that's what a wonderful point and a call to action for all of us. I love that. Thank you.
Yeah, and thanks for asking me. You mentioned earlier that Phil and I work with nonprofits, so we're both lucky. It's a blessing and a curse to know that there's so many needs and we can respond. And wow, it's kind of an overwhelming amount. And one of the things we do in our firm is we help families sort of align their giving a little bit more strategically. So the donation amount doesn't matter, but I'll use this, idea of $500 because I think there's probably a lot of Americans who throughout the year are asked for $50 for this,
Mhm.
$25 for this, maybe even $100 for something
And
else.
it
And
adds up. Mhm.
yeah, and if you think of your family's values and kind of almost like a mission statement you might have for yourself or your family, and you can align your giving that way, you might consider giving a gift to just one or maybe two places with the whole pool of money that you would designate for philanthropy or for charity and giving back to have an even bigger impact and generate more outcomes. Because when we spread our money a mile wide, it sometimes can only go an inch deep. Whereas if we focus our efforts and have really thoughtful conversations about, where we're kind of making more of an investment, we feel a little more fulfilled by it. And it's very meaningful on the receiving end to receive such a large chunk of money to do more with.
You are the one who changed my mind about this because I read one of your articles on LinkedIn. And before, if somebody would send me one of those Facebook birthday fundraisers, okay, $20 here. And then I see that a dog needs to have surgery or they're going to die. Okay, $100. Like, I do this throughout the year and it does feel good, but you also see this lofty goal of say $10,000. So, your 20 is just a drop in the bucket. But if we look at 2021 at the new year and we say, okay, here's how much I want to donate to charity this year, and you make it a family event to research and find, what is meaningful to your family, I feel like not only could that be great for the organization, as you're saying, to make a larger impact for them, but also for you, because you can take the time to learn more about that organization, maybe how you can help in other ways, not just on a financial level. I like
Yeah.
that. So speaking of, Meg, if we don't, I mean, if COVID had hit us personally and we lost our jobs, and I feel thankful for that every single day, and I know you do as well.
Yeah.
If we couldn't make a financial gift, but we want to help, we want to be a part of, change and work for an organization in some way, do you have any ideas for us?
Yeah, Kaylee, I'm glad you asked about that because I think for a lot of nonprofits, they might find it challenging to get the word out that they need help. And a lot of people, like my stepson, our son Dylan, he's in the National Junior Honor Society. He's always reminding us, oh, I need volunteer hours. And
Mhm.
on the other end of the spectrum, I have a grandparent still who's always telling me that she's going to go volunteer at the hospital. And our society sometimes get it into our heads, okay, unless you just have no job and nothing to do, I mean, it's hard to volunteer. And
You're so
the
right.
reality is that there's places who could use someone to drive the Christmas gifts or the holiday gifts off to families who are only getting gifts through that nonprofit. And there's a lot of organizations who will spend hours right now, especially in these last few weeks, opening envelopes of donations or even sealing envelopes of, holiday card solicitations that'll go out to a big, broad based constituency. And they love to have volunteers donate their time to come in and do those things. And if you do have extra supplies or things around your house, it's worth the time to see, hey, where could these be used? I worked at a hospital and there was someone who was knitting all of the little micro tiny hats for the NICU babies. And I thought, oh my gosh, she must do this all day. And I said, no, she doesn't. She just does it when she has time. And she asks her friends and her family, hey, give me your extra, knitting supplies if you're not using them. I think the same thing has been true for masks, even if you can't make them. Where can I go drop things off? What do I have, either in time or things that can just be helpful and supportive to the needs around me?
And if we
There's
all did
no,
that, if
what's
we,
that?
sorry to interrupt you, Meg, if we all did that, what a big collective effort that
I
could be.
know.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I even just reading, getting ideas from your friends on Facebook. I have a friend, Sabrina Betts, and I used to work with her at Channel 9. Lovely human. Her mom works for a rehabilitation retirement community nursing home.
Right.
And she put out that so many of these residents are especially lonely at the holidays, but they've been lonely all year because if you think about it, because of COVID, they haven't been able to see anybody. And a few of the residents don't have family members, so they don't receive mail or gifts or love. And it just tugged at my heartstrings so much. So I reached out to her and I asked if anybody wanted a pen pal, because you know how much I love writing letters. And so I got a pen pal. Gray got a couple of friends. So together we spent the morning just writing cards. He made these beautiful drawings for them. And that was something that didn't take very much time, but it filled us both so much to think that somebody might open our card and smile. And I think that, yes, you can do something big, like write a check and know that you are providing important, whether it's like a wheelchair or whatever that nonprofit might be using your monetary donation for, but also just to give somebody a smile. We're not denying the fact that that could be really special too.
I completely agree. And I love that story. And sometimes my problem will say, I don't know how to know. Like, I don't know how to find out what they need.
Mhm.
And if you look for on a website the titles that have development or donor relations or community engagement, those are usually the people at nonprofits who really know, have a handle on what the needs are. And so I think reaching out to someone specific and saying, here's what I can offer. Can you line me up with an opportunity that you have is the best way to approach
Great
it.
idea. Maybe, Meg, we could add something down in the comments below for people who are looking to connect with an organization. That would be such a wonderful idea.
Yeah, I love that.
Oh, and you're filled with all these good nuggets. Is there something you want to leave us with as we look to the new year? When it comes to your background with nonprofits, but also looking ahead to the future of giving, what would you leave us with today?
I would tell you that anything that you feel like you can do for an organization will give you so much more joy and
Mm.
fulfillment than you even anticipate when you set off into this journey of giving. And that it's only going to be increasingly more important that we do think about other people and we support them, and that you shouldn't feel obligated to say yes to every single thing that comes your way, but you can say yes to something that you feel really pulled towards and you feel emotionally invested in.
Mhm.
There's facts on the food bank's website that say, $1 or $5 equals this. If you're thinking in really small numbers, find a place where the outcomes are right in front of you. And if you're thinking of even bigger numbers, start thinking about it in January, because the more time you take and the more that you involve your family and other people and you consider the process, it's going to just fill you with that much more gratitude and meaning.
And speaking of that, I don't know about you, but when I haven't given in a while, like when I haven't thought outside my little bubble, I can start feeling it like something is off. I'm not fulfilled. I don't feel like I'm doing my part. I can just feel a little something not right. And when you get back to a place of gratitude for all of your many blessings and start thinking about how you can try to spread that joy to others, it makes you feel so much better. And we don't need to wait until the end of the year to start feeling that way.
No, you don't. And even if me and you have talked about this before. I mean, even if you have something happen, they talk about patients in a hospital who are grateful and that they actually heal so much faster and better if
Mhm.
they have a chance to thank the physician or the team in some small or large way. And anytime something happens in your life where you want to respond to it with gratitude by giving back, you should do it any time of the year and not necessarily just wait until the end of the year to do that. So,
Oh, such a good point. Okay, leave me with one last thing, if you don't mind. I love to hear what triggers joy for friends. So, what was a joy trigger for you today?
a joy trigger for me is actually you asking me. Now you're in Texas and I'm in New York, and we used to see each other's face in person, right?
I know.
And
I miss you so much.
I miss you so much too. And I think that so many years ago,
Mhm.
women and moms and people were so compartmentalized into what they did with their day, and I am so beyond grateful that I can work in a field that I love
Mhm.
and maintain friendships and not just catch up with you on things that only have to do with us both having children or having similar fond kind of things around us, but also in work and professional spaces that lead to gratitude. And I think that there's so many more opportunities to connect with people on a meaningful level that I'm so grateful that you asked me and that I get these chances in my life. So thank you.
I feel the same about you and then some. By the way, you have the best book recommendations. If anybody, you need to seek Meg out on Instagram if you have any need for like the most wonderful book. You need to do like a guest post on Sunday Scrolls, Meg.
Oh my gosh, I will. Although I have to say, I turned my own mother onto your Sunday scrolls, and now she's taking your book recommendations over my book recommendations and then telling me in a text, you better read that Kaylee Nixon suggested book. It is
I love
amazing.
you, Dawn. That's awesome. Thank you, Meg. Thank you so much for your time. I'm so grateful to you and also to Phil and all the good work that you guys are doing. You are the most extraordinary parents
Oh,
to those
thank you.
4 kiddos. And I love listening to your parenting nuggets and all of your wisdom. So thank you, truly.
Thank you so much. I'm
And I'll link
honored.
all your stuff.
Yes,
Hello.
you're my number one fan.
I am, for sure. Thank you, Meg. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Take care, Kaylee. Bye.